Rushville residents. This was a question that Mr. Little raised. This one was on last month's agenda. The trustees did vote to appeal the project or appeal the hearing officer's decision. I did file a timely appeal, which was accepted by the city. I then got notified by the applicant there was an irregularity in our process. I verified that there was indeed an irregularity. I waited to find out whether a second appeal was filed. The second appeal was filed. And given the limited options I had to remedy the problem, I withdrew our appeal so that the conversation at Planning Commission could be only about the project and the merits of the project, not about whether the CPA filed their appeals correctly or not. I did not do this on my own. I talked with others who verified irregularity. So we're going to be a little bit tighter. We've kind of learned a lesson on this. And but the CPA can still go down and defend its action and its position on the project. So I'll go to Mr. Little first.
Well, I'm just trying to get it clarified. So the objection was on the appeal process. Something was wrong with the appeal. Could you tell us about that? What it was?
Is the video camera going? What our action was on the project itself was to ratify the DPR recommendation. And it was disclosed that the DPR recommendation was not what was voted on at the committee. The motion was enhanced to reflect the discussion at the meeting and not what the actual motion said. And that was verified by the chair of the committee.
Did you say that again, Joe?
This committee, you talked about this.
The only action that we took was to ratify the recommendation of the subcommittee. The challenge by the applicant was that the motion that was presented for our consideration was not the motion approved by DPR, but was taken and embellished to reflect the discussion that was held at DPR. So there was a procedural flaw in that. And the chair of the DPR verified that. Because I would not accept that on things like that.
I guess I'd have to ask, why did that come out for the first appeal? That was the second appeal we were asked you to approve, right? The first appeal had already gone to hearing officer?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, it's really.
And I think the reason was, this is speculation on my part. When I file an appeal, or when we file an appeal, the appeal is based on the specific action that the organization takes. So when they said, why are you appealing this? The reason I gave was what DPR said. And so I think they were hoping that if they threw our appeal out, that nobody else would appeal, and that the appeal would go away. So it may have been, I don't know that, but that's my speculation as to why it was raised at that time. Mr. Costello.
Our vote to appeal was the vote to appeal. It wasn't based on anything else. It was, yes, we had the DPR's report in front of us, but we did not hear the whole thing. We heard and we made the motion to appeal, not based necessarily on any other fact.
But you can't file just an appeal to appeal. You have to give reasons, and the city has to accept the reasons as valid. And again,
Community character was the reason for the appeal, and you wrote that in there.
and the reason was the DPR action, because that's what was voted on.
No, the reason we did that was the DPR action was on the assumption with the agreement with the applicant that they would return to us, which they broke. The reason we did not come out with a clear-cut motion because we had an agreement that this guy would come back and present to us. And that's been part of our problem with this particular personality, is a number of these things like that have been occurring. We should have come out with a definitive hatchet, chop, deny in the way that we normally do. But the guy said, okay, I'll come back in X number of weeks. And that's why I think the CPA needs to be down there and back up our appeals, because we do represent the community. And this is it's an awful project. It's going to ruin this nice, cute little neighborhood. And I feel that this is why we're here.
And we're going to be there at the hearing.
Yeah, but Joe, but I think that you really need, by whatever mechanism you withdrew the appeal, this ought to go back in, because it's maneuvering by an applicant.
I was not aware that I was not aware that they made a promise to me.
Well, they did. In fact, Pat Sherman wrote it in his article in the La Jolla Life. It isn't just my word. And I've got a copy of it right here. I believe you. I'm not just trying to make Mr. Sherman uncomfortable, but he did accurately. What he wrote was an accurate representation of what happened at that meeting.
I believe you might. I just didn't know what happened.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure a number of people in the audience also feel that the CPA has to go with an appeal and back us up on this. We sit here for nothing if we can't back up our word and our intentions and the community plan.
Okay, that's not at stake here.
It was appealed though, ultimately.
It was appealed. It is going to an appeal here.
And will you
And we
let us
can
know
be
when
here.
that is?
Yeah, June 11th. It's been scheduled for June 11th.
City council?
Yeah, no, planning commission. So, Mr. Comartin, you guys your hand up.
So, just a couple points. One, you did do the appeal, and in the appeal, you did quote the PCR, and their reasons for it. Okay, so it was a straight-up appeal. What happened in this case was that their lobbyists, during our process at the PCR, when they were asked to come back, the lobbyists pulled the fellow outside. He came back, said, "This is it. That's it." Tough. And what they planned to do was to go around this group, it was downtown. They figured this little piece of property, undersized lot on an alley, that the neighbors aren't going to do anything about it. The PCR probably doesn't care. You came in the meeting last week or a month ago. Right away was, the committee, the PCR, voted 5-4. I don't think it's worth their time to go downtown. 2 of us got up and said, "Come on," all right? And this is what we get in return. It never did get filed. It got filed and you pulled it. And now you're asking these people to go downtown without the community supporting them. The question will be, and it has, and if you go and ask Tony, the head of it, one of the questions they always ask down there is, where's your community? Okay, where's your community support on this particular claim or whatever it is? And this lady's going to be standing down there saying, geez, I'm the only person here. That's not fair, and that's not the way this committee, I don't think, wants to work, and I think it has to be more transparent. Okay? And I really think you should go and, if you can, redo it. If not, you should work very hard with this lady. You should personally go down there, representing it, or as many committee members as we can, and say, we made a mistake, right or wrong. Whatever the committee down there says is fine. But we shouldn't leave us citizens sitting there just,
And no one has said that that will be the case.
and not one of these, well, next time we'll do it right. I mean, you've been doing this for 6 years. Come on.
Well, and just so that you know, if I didn't pull the appeal, their attorney would go down there and spend most of his presentation about how we had a procedural problem and make us look bad.
Joe, we haven't won anything in the last 6 or 7 times we've been down there, okay? So this looking bad thing
That's not true.
is going out the door. What we have to do is get organized so that when you do go down there, you're not by yourself and spend 5 minutes doing it. But you have several people there to support you with a very cohesive presentation so that we're not ramrodded by an attorney that's going to, that's not the way the community should work. And if it does, it's unfortunate, and we're really wasting a lot of time.
Okay. Yes. I'm sorry, I don't recognize.
Julie Swain,
And I had a concern about the last meeting here and the process, and don't be offended by this, but your actions. By my count, about 20% of the audience was here for that Rushville project. And to quickly gloss over it and say it was a 5-4 vote or whatever, we don't need a vote, that's it, and only because of Ms. Zimmerman. Emerson, yes, both saying that we needed to discuss this and vote on it. It was 11-3, I believe, at the end. You know, I think the chair really ought to have equipoise. You don't have a vote unless there's a tie, and that, to me, looked to be prejudicial without equipoise. And I hope that future processes, we don't really try to ramrod it like that.
I don't remember it that way, but I respect how it looked from your position. So, did you want to say something? Okay, Mr. Little.
I make the motion, I move that we refile, that you refile the appeal, and this is not part of the motion, that's the end of the motion, but I'm sure you can handle that attorney down there, and I think these comments about the appearance of the way we do process here is important. I think we should do it right. I think also, everybody knows, I'll say it flat out, the planning commission's never seen a project they didn't like, and the chances are 0. But nonetheless, we should go through the motion. So I would appreciate you file this deal again.
I'll second
Are we out of the
that.
time frame?
We're out of time frame, so
We can't, we're beyond the time
it doesn't get listed as an action item. We will be down there. We will be supporting as many of you would like to come down and join me to show that force. That's what will actually make the difference, just to have that, rather than only gather by myself. So, no problem.
So we're out of the time frame, is that
We're out of the time frame.
Yes, okay. So fine,
Right,
everyone
and
will
just-
be notified?
Just as so, A, we have not lost every time we go down to the planning commission.
No, I never said that.
So, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to point at you. 2, this is about transparency. So, you know, I'm not happy with what has happened at all, you know, but, so, Mr. Alpha.
I'd just say that I think Joe has been very transparent in what he's talked about in terms of this appeal, and he's told all of you that he plans on being down there, and I think that he's not going to be the only one down there to fight for your interests. And it's a very tough job he has, and you know, people come in here and they are very passionate about their issues, and we all understand that, and he's got to marshal all this through. So please try to understand the tough position that he's in, trying to get through all this.
I agree with that, Alex. That's good. And he's run for the position.
Okay, I didn't actually see everybody clapping, so let's try it. Thank you, Alex.
I withdraw that
Good
motion.
job. Okay, thank you. Mr. Barrow?
There, as I understand it, there was a motion previously that passed to appeal. So that's a fact that can be stated as a statement of fact at the other person's appeal, and to show the support of the La Jolla Community Planning Association. I mean, you could do another motion now to that same effect, but it seems to me it would be redundant. You already have the fact of that the association is in favor of appealing. Regardless of what technicality went wrong that it was withdrawn, you can still show that there's a motion of this organization to support appealing for the reasons that were given.
I think that's a good reminder, John. Mr. Casella?
2 quick things. Can you write up what went wrong? Paul Benton and I have obviously gone round and round and round, going, holy cow. So that we can kind of put it in our little folders and make sure we never do it again.
Okay.
And pass it around to our members. And you might even send this little thing off to the other subcommittee chairs. The other thing is, folks, we need you down at the Planning Commission to support the community plan.
Well, and the seat time for speakers too.
And to seek time for speakers. This is just incredibly important. We have someone just plain railroading a project through a cute little community, and basically all this is community character. There are some of the most ridiculous things you have ever heard of that they have managed to drag out of the municipal code. Since they're calling a garage an accessory structure, hence it doesn't have to have setback, they mash it up against the fence. And since it's an accessory structure, they can put a deck up on top of the accessory structure. I mean, my God, it's just awful, everyone. We have got to go down there. Please, if you do not go down to any of these meetings this whole year, please come down June 11th. We need, can I please see hands of people that will be there and help us out? We need you just to show you support La Jolla.
When is it, what time?
It's
June 11th.
June 11th,
June 11th.
Thursday, 9
Thursday
o'clock.
morning,
9
And
a.m.
maybe we can
9
have
a.m.
Mr. Jolla to put us on the agenda first.
It is.
We'll be, all right, thank you. Okay, so you won't have to spend all day down there, but please.
But in the meantime, you could go on the 14th of May for whale watch.
Yeah, there's another one coming up, whale watch.